Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a quick overview of what the belief was for how we used to do a listing agreement and compensation. A listing agreement with the seller would be with the listing broker. And that'd be an uptick, and the listing broker would put the information into the MLS. MLS is where you would see your compensation offer. The buyer broker would see that information, bring it down to the buyer himself, him or herself. And the aspect is they may or may not have a buyer agreement. Next slide. This is a way of looking at compensation to consumer, C2C. And what that's looking at is, again, we have a seller and there's a listing agreement to the listing broker, but the listing broker, that dotted line going from the listing broker into the MLS, can no longer put that information in there, which means it can't come out to the buyer broker and it doesn't get concessions to the buyer. It takes a different view, a different path. The path goes from the seller, and the listing broker may talk about seller concessions and terms. And we may have to look at modifying the purchase contract, modifying that we absolutely have a buyer broker agreement in place with a specific client before we go out and see a home. That's going to be a change or a pivot in our market and how we do business. It's going to be a general guide from listing agents to clients, and it's going to be a general guide from buyer agents to buyers themselves. Please know, nationally, locally, the team is fierce looking at, do we need to modify the purchase agreement? If this purchase agreement gets modified and approved, they may not wait till October. They may bring that out as soon as it's done. We can go from the purchase agreement over to the buyer and talk about concessions that maybe the seller still pays for the services of the buyer broker, but it wouldn't go through the MLS. And so this quick graph is the best I've seen about how the flow of communication and the responsibility is in our market moving forward.